What's going on, everybody? Spencer here again. I just saw that Sky Strikers top one, like all the way topped the YCS Pasadena, California. So decided to build my own variant of it. I started with the original deck list that he had for the event, and then I've kind of gone off my own from there. So far, the success has been pretty good. I wanted to show you guys some replays today, just to see if Sky Strikers like really are that relevant again. And I'm sure the guy had the advantage that no one really is playing Sky Strikers right now, so it's something that you kind of have to side for format-wise, and I think he took advantage of that. And now we'll see if more people are playing Sky Strikers or off of it, but Sky Strikers are definitely depending on Needle 5 right now, so the relevancy may be limited. Keep that in mind. Starting off here, we're playing against this like blue eyes, red eyes variant, which is, I would imagine, very brick heavy, but it is interesting to see. I've seen some really cool people do some really cool stuff with red eyes as of recent. Yeah, and I just wanted to show you guys this highlight, mainly because the advantage of running Foolish Burial Goods and instantly having 2 spells in the graveyard, because it's much more difficult to do now that Engage is banned, obviously. Hashtag bring Engage back to 1. Or bring it to 1, I should say. They went straight to ban. So, I mean, I'm sitting pretty good here overall. 3 hand traps. And then obviously I had my Widow Anchor set, which I'll get back in very shortly. Should have played multi-roll first, but whatever. And this is the play I was talking about here. So enjoy this combo while you can. If you're playing meta-based decks, though, I mean, there's going to be link monsters and stuff in the graveyard, so it's just Needle Fiber obviously allows you to do it any turn at all. Here is this Phantom Knights BA deck that I played, which I thought was really interesting. Unfortunately, he did have the Call by the Grave, but I felt pretty comfortable with him, like, going -1 just for an allure. I feel like that's kind of a waste. I don't know about you guys. Here's the new Phantom Knights card, which is the best of the set, basically, for the support for Phantom. I also thought it was really interesting that they combined the Phantom Knights archetype with Raid Raptors, but that'll be a video for another time. Here's like one of my least favorite cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! But what are you gonna do? Basically allows you to get Dingirsued. It's like an IP Masquerena for Orcust. It's fine. It's not like that's the most rare thing ever. And that's something that's really good, I think, about Sky Strikers in this format, is that most forms of removal are in the form of monsters in this format. So, having spell removal, I think, is extremely important, especially when no one's really thinking about Sky Strikers anymore. And the Sky Strike is showing why it's so resilient. Basically, there are a lot of stipulations on cards, like, oh, if it's sent to the graveyard, it's no. When it leaves the field, you can summon Ray, which is a big reason why I think it was meta for so long. Gonna make sure I get rid of his Dingirsu. Don't want any of that. No shenanigans in the graveyard. And it's just so easy. Why did Konami ever make Needle Fiber? But you gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah, as the game goes longer, the advantage always goes to Sky Striker. Now I have 2 forms of disruption with access code talker on the field. And at that point, he's just not able to mount anything. And that was the end of that. Here's Tunes. I feel like I'm showing Tune highlights a lot, but it's going to be popular for a while, so it's something that I think is worth showing, at least to you guys. There is one duel at the end of this I'm going to show you guys that really showcases the skill of this, but it's good to look at a bevy different of decks that you may experience at locals. Should have gone through the Ray combo. This was me really early on, so I was but a fool. And, you know, he's sitting pretty good with 2 comic hands. And I also can't target with Effect Veiler, which makes things much more difficult. He goes for Lightning Destroy, which I'm sure almost every Toon player is playing right now because of the Toon Harpy Lady. But luckily I am able to help myself just a little bit. And I get one of the perfect draw cards for this because now that they have protection, but it's not from banishment. Go ahead and set Window Anchor, grab it with Kagari. Well, I guess that makes sense too, right? Which is even smarter move because I'll be able to set it with multi-roll. He honestly is getting some pretty awesome draws here. I thought it was game over. But unfortunately, Toons cannot attack the turn they're summoned. Or most of them can, I should say. So I'm going to have to make do here somehow. Go ahead and grab the Hornet Drones. Finally able to rank up just enough. And the Link Climb. And already had a Veiler. And then obviously once you get Access Code Talker... Which is crazy because I took control of this, so now it's technically mine. I think that's an interesting rule in Yu-Gi-Oh! Here's a matchup that I really wanted to show you guys because Cyber Dragons is quite possibly the worst matchup naturally for Sky Strikers to play against just because of Mega Fleet Dragon. It's impossible to play around, so you honestly just have to set yourself up as best as possible and then go in for the kill shot. Widow Anchor is the most important card of this matchup. You could play Ghost Ogre, but again, it's really just a waste of resources because of Ray. Fortunately, it did have the Nibiru, but it ultimately didn't matter that much. You basically have to hope they don't have a Cyber Dragon card in hand, but, you know, it matters very little. I'm trying to get him down to as small resources as possible to set myself up. And the advantage of hand traps is that they're all tuners, of course. Because why not? Again, it's the key to all of this. Very much like Jar Jar Binks, he's the key to all of this. They're basically, in my opinion, there is no Sky Strikers without Access Code Talker. And I think that's fine, to be honest with you. I mean, almost every deck is relying on something like that. Emancipators are relying on Block Dragon, so... I get pretty much the greatest draw that you can get in that situation, outside of maybe another Widow Anchor to end the game, but... For now, I'm going to stall, and the advantage is all mine, unless he grabs Overflow, but I have so many more cards that are more useful for me than for him. And the more cards he brings to the field, the better for me. So I'm just waiting and waiting and waiting. He's waiting and trying to get Overflow. I didn't mean to shotgun Impermanence. That was really dumb by me, but nonetheless, it didn't matter too much. So now at this point, all I need is basically to stall until I can get... He uses Power Bond stupidly, and there it is. I get the second copy of Widow Anchor, in which case I'm able to finish the game out. So it is possible to beat Cyber Dragons, but again, it is a rough matchup to say the least. Here I'm playing Zombies, like basically the poster child of Rogue, which you'll probably see at your locals. Stopping that, you know, anything to stop you, a zombie, from getting off the field. Probably shouldn't have gone for the Ray combo again, but nonetheless, I'm still able to do some of the stuff that I want to, especially now that I have a Widow Anchor in hand already. And I can get a Shark Cannon, which is quite important against zombies, especially when they get their boss monster, Doom King, on the field. Fortunately, I cannot stop this. So he is going to get that Doom King to the graveyard. And he gives me Link fodder, which, I mean, I guess if you want to draw one, that's pretty good, but I don't know if I agree with it necessarily. So I'm starting off in a rough spot, without a doubt. The advantage for sure looks to be his, but like I said, the spell removal is so important. Thanks to his Link, I'm able to Link climb and continue the trend all the way up to Access Code Talker. Shark Cannon is like one of the biggest lifelines of the deck. And obviously, once he's out of resources, there's nothing much you can do. So that was a pretty significant duel, I would say, on the come around. Another duel against zombies, I thought was another good one. This is like a danger combo variant, I guess. Although the combo didn't really show through there. It's so important to get rid of Zombie World, right? Go ahead and grab my multi-roll. Bring multi-roll to 2. And now that Zombie World's off the field, I'm in a pretty good advantage, unless he draws Terraforming and also has a Banshee in hand. But I do have the second copy of Cosmic Cyclone. And kind of is pretty good, I would say. It does deserve at least one spot in the extra deck. For a while I was thinking around not doing it, but that ability to stall is pretty darn good. Definitely going to need another form of removal here, and luckily I have 2. I love Zeke. I think that was an amazing card for Sky Strikers to get. Again, just gaining tons and tons of advantage here. And because I activated a Sky Striker card, I can set that Afterburners when I send to the graveyard. I'm fine with banishment removal because I know I have the negate, and I'm just able to completely take over his board at this point. And I might as well summon Shizuku at the end just so I can get that search, because why not? Now that all 3 of his cards are back, the advantage might not seem to be mine, but again, Link is always a good thing for me because it's helping me Link climb. And at that point, obviously, every passing turn is just better for me. And first of all, he has to get over this. Then he has to get Zombie World on the field. So I would say I'm definitely in a pretty good spot. A couple more for you guys coming up here. UA, which I know is also really popular because it just got new support that came out. Doesn't open the strongest. I know the field spell is really important. Just trying to stop him from searching and trigger that effect, which I'm able to do prematurely. Not feeling the greatest, but, you know, to have Widow Anchor, go to Shizuku Pass, with impermanence, I mean, how angry can you really be? Unfortunately, he top decks what he needs, but although I don't really know about the graveyard of UA, so maybe I'm wrong. Letting that go through really basically would have been the end of the turn for me. Luckily for me, I'm able to stop that. Gonna go ahead and grab Widowmaker. I'm gonna link climb now, knowing that that's a tuner, and a lot of decks play tuners, so that's really not an unimaginable play on a regular basis. With the Widowmaker in hand, with access code Talker, I don't think I'm in necessarily a bad spot. And you know, he really wasn't having anything. Again, I'm able to trigger Metal Foes Fusion if you draw it. It is a brick, but it's not the worst brick in the world. And with the Cosmic Cyclone, I'm starting to feel really good, but it didn't matter in the end, right? Last one for you guys, which is my favorite one by far, Out Emancipators. We all know what Out Emancipators are doing right now, and the combo decks are out of control, but the Effect Veiler ultimately is good going first, and he did draw 2 forms of negation in the beginning, so maybe not best for their combos, but in any case, I do have to deal with a double impermanence, unfortunately. This card is a pain in my side, but luckily I don't have... He can't negate monster effects, or a spell effect is only monster effects, so the advantage is definitely mine. Again, I'm able to stop him from keep going. I'm able to clear his board. Grab another Widowmaker. I know important monster negate is against this deck. So I have the Widowmaker, I have the Ash, and now I have another Widowmaker to hand. And with Block Dragon there, it's important to do this. Now, it's important to get Block Dragon off the field in the correct way, because otherwise it would be really bad. I targeted this because I know he can still negate if I was to do something else, so that was more important than grabbing Block Dragon. And then I'm able to go into Access Code Talker. Double negate with Access Code Talker against one card has got to be pretty darn good. And to ensure that he really doesn't have anything, go ahead and negate that. Does have Block Dragon, and to make sure none of his effects go off, I make sure I take control of it, and then I go from there. So that was a really important matchup for you guys to see, and hopefully I'll try to find some more competitive ones for you. If you want to see me play some more Sky Strikers, I'm definitely going to be streaming it. But if you want to see more videos on YouTube, let me know, and I can make sure I make that happen. See you next time.